Hello, I'm Dr. Paul, and this is my beautiful wife, Lynn. And we are going to be bringing a series of topics to these videos about plasma energy and about many specific parts of it and how plasma energy can affect the health of people with, for example, arthritis, herpes, headaches, anxiety, toothache, and also for pets. And one of the major ones that I'll be covering next week is diabetes and how you can live with diabetes into old age, like myself, without any permanent damage such as blindness, toe and foot amputations, and things like this that go along with diabetes in many cases. So today we're going to be talking about clean mouth, which is a preparation that we've made up of several different GANS waters for oral health. And I'll let Lynn give an introduction to that.
Okay, well, first off, I need to say something to clarify it. I don't think we're old. I think we're just upper middle age. Old is when you get past 100, I'm pretty sure. So we're just upper middle age. Okay, so we got that clarified. So we came up with the clean mouth after watching and doing a lot of research. There was a video series on the dangers of certain products or procedures we have done in our mouths and what all that is causing. And so one of the issues that has come up is, what if you have the mercury amalgam fillings? There's research that's showing that can be creating an issue from the mercury off-gassing as you're chewing or putting pressure on your mouth, such as brushing your teeth or whatever. Another issue that was brought up in a whole series of experts that were talking about different aspects of having a healthy mouth were root canals. Well, as they're presenting what can be done about it, a lot of it was pretty drastic and it was going to be pretty expensive. And so I want to just cover a couple of things that they talked about. And one of those was that in your mouth, each root has tubules, little tiny, tiny, tiny vessels. But if you were to take it out of one tooth, it might cover an entire tennis court. So when you see that the infection in a mouth has a whole lot of opportunity to travel far beyond the immediate root, then you have to wonder, well, how can you get a grasp on this whole situation with dental health? And there were a lot of discussions on there about fluoride, and Dr. Kennedy, one of the speakers at this symposium, said he came across a book called Fluoride, The Aging Factor. And he now does a very holistic approach to dentistry, and he says there's a whole lot of things that will take care of issues in your mouth that might include baking soda, essential oils, a lot of what would be called alternative therapies. Fluoride is basically sodium fluoride, which is a deadly poison. And we've kind of been told otherwise as far as fluoride in toothpaste and fluoride in our water supplies, our local city water supplies. So you look at the combination of what's being put in our mouth and what's going on in our mouth, and then you can couple that with a chart that I came across, and this is an acupuncture chart actually, and what it's doing is relating the teeth to certain energy fields in your body, and how something going on in that tooth could also be impacting a certain area of your body. Interestingly enough, when Paul was a toddler, he fell and hit the corner of a table and injured one or two teeth on your lower front teeth.
Two
Teeth on his lower front teeth. Well, when you look at this chart, that's associated with kidneys. So it's just kind of interesting when you put all of this together. So what I want Paul to show is what went in to the making of the clean mouth GANs and what the combinations are that you used. If you would show some of the things you've got there.
Okay. There are several different GANs waters in this combination. The first one is CO2, and it's this powdery substance at the bottom here. We only use the water on top. The powdery substance on the bottom acts as the battery to charge this water. Another ingredient is magnesium, and this was made from a metal bar of magnesium, and it's the same type of GANs. There's copper oxide in there also. Now, copper oxide has been shown to be effective against bacteria and viruses. This is part of many of the products that we use because of its anti-infective properties, and it's also effective against funguses and yeast. As a potentiator, something that increases the strength, we put in a little bit of CH3, and then we add a little bit, not much, of the Korean salt. This is a 9 times baked Korean salt that has the salts of just about every mineral on Earth in here.
And that's the GANs, that's not the actual salt, right?
Right, that's the GANs of the salt, and we just use a little bit of the water. And the last component that makes the connection with the human body is the hemoglobin amino acid combination. And you can see that real billowy type of stuff floating around in there. That's the amino acid and hemoglobin that we add after we get everything put together. So those are all of the ingredients, and in combination they are very effective at keeping a clean mouth and keeping the infections down and combating toxins.
Okay, and in addition to what Paul has there, when you look up the Never Ending Plasma Energy Clean Mouth on our website, you will see that it also includes some additional things that we didn't mention right here. Now, what all can you do with Clean Mouth once you get it? Because here's how it's going to come to you. When the weather's good, you're going to get Clean Mouth in a glass vial. We live in a cold climate, so when the weather's below freezing, these little vials will freeze and sometimes break, especially if they're left sitting out in the delivery process. So we have BPA-free plastic vials. We know these do not break if they happen to freeze. So that's what we send inside the country. If you are outside of the country, what we do is we send you a pair of patches which have been soaked with the same water, and these go in on either side of the jar that you're going to set up for your Clean Mouth plasma energy water. You can tape them, you can rubber band them, you can tie them, whatever you like, and the water you're going to use is going to be a high quality spring or well water, a filtered water. We don't recommend using a tap water. And you'll always want to, you can put the vial inside. As you see, I have vials inside this jar, and I'll explain what the jar is here in a minute. And you could also just attach it to the outside if you have the vial. And if it's in a busy place and you attached a glass vial, put a little bubble wrap or something protective just in case it would get bumped on the counter. So what do I have here in this jar? Well, here's one of the ways that I use Clean Mouth. When I've made my jar of water, then I can use the vials, or I can actually take water from that jar source. And this is a mouthwash that I've made. And it's got the Clean Mouth. It's got a couple of other things we do in it as well. And then just for flavoring, I've added some wintergreen and peppermint. And it is not blue. The jar is blue. So, and that's a good point, because what I want to show you is it's okay to use translucent jars, plastic like this. You can see inside, and you can see there's a vial inside, or like this jar. It's okay if they're colored, but if you have something that's a solid color like this, don't put your vial on the outside, because you're not going to get the plasma energy fields that you're seeking in your water. Now another thing I make, and this is definitely just something I make for Paul and Lynn. It probably won't see the market anytime soon, but this is toothpaste I make. And as you can see, everybody's going to rush to find gray toothpaste to make their mouths white, right? But what I've done is I've taken coconut oil, and I've taken some charcoal, I've taken our Clean Mouth, I've added some essential oils for flavoring, and there's a few more things in there. This is just something that Paul and I use, and I just keep this in the refrigerator and then fill our small containers with that. Now, as far as the spray bottle, you know, it's handy to have them, and if you're in a certain work area all the time and you're just trying to address some issues with your mouth, I mean, just have it right there and have a few squirts. It's right handy. Now, another thing I do with the Clean Mouth, I add it to the water container for a water pick, and then you're constantly utilizing that as you're using your water pick. I also have this handy so I can always spray the toothbrushes before and after they're used. So there's just a lot of different ways that you can think of to use the Clean Mouth, and you can actually, you know, you can drink it. And like I said, keep it handy if you have some issues going on and need to swish out your mouth occasionally with it. And this is just one of the additional products that we put together to make things better in our lives.
And on that note, And last time I was at the dentist for a teeth cleaning, the hygienist commented that my gums were in very good shape, especially for an old man. She said, your gums look like they belong to a 20-year-old. She said, what are you doing to keep them in such good shape? And I didn't say anything about it because nobody at the dentist office wants to hear about plasma energy. So I just said, well, I just brush my teeth like everybody else. And she said, well, they sure look great. So that's a good testament as to the clean mouth.
Well, that brings up something else. I had kind of like a fistula, and they had discovered it at one of my cleaning appointments. They said, oh, you know what, you're going to have to get in right away and have, we're going to have to do a root canal and everything else that's associated with that. I said, well, okay. But I didn't make the appointment. I came home instead, and I made some gauze, as the dentist puts gauze in your mouth all rolled up, and I just made some little gauze patches using the clean mouth, and I put it between my cheek and my gum above where the fistula was. It went away. And so the next time I went in for a cleaning, they looked at my chart and they looked at me and they looked at my mouth and they looked again and they said, you were supposed to come in and we were supposed to follow up on, but that fistula is not there. And they said, you never did come in. I said, no, I sure didn't. And I just left it at that. So that was another thing. Now, one more thing I've discovered with clean mouth is I used to get mouth blisters when I'd eat pecans, probably because I'd overdone it at some point, and I love pecans, and I just quit eating them for a lot of years. And I decided to test it one day when I inadvertently ate some pecans that were in a recipe somebody had baked. And I thought, well, let's test it and see. So I sprayed this in. I never got the mouth blisters. So guess who can eat pecans again? That makes me kind of happy. It makes Paul unhappy because now I get into the pecans that he likes and he thought he had all to himself. So, and I hope you've stayed till the end of this because we do have a little surprise for you. If you decide you're going to order something today, if you'll add the word plasma to your order where it says coupon, you'll get a 15% discount on your ordering. So in the meantime, we'd like to thank you for watching this video. We'd like to get a thumbs up from you. We hope you'll subscribe if you want to know when more of these videos are coming out. And I do need to mention our website. It's plasmaenergysolution.com. That's plasmaenergysolution.com. And Paul, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, we just want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And we appreciate any comments. You can leave us a comment down below if you have anything to say or to add, or if you have questions that you want answered in subsequent videos, leave them down below in the comments, and we'll answer as many questions as we can that we have answers for. So thank you very much. Again, give us a thumbs up and subscribe and share this video with your friends. Thank you very much.